So hi everybody, I'll try and keep this a bit short. I know we all want to go to the pub. I'm going to talk a little bit about Tandem's infrastructure pipeline. I was only asked to talk about this last week, so I've had to kind of write it quite quickly, and it's quite interesting trying to write about something that you use every day, and it's sort of invisible, so you can't really, I've had to really dig and see what it has meant to us to have it. So first, a little bit about me. My name's Matt Canty, I'm a platform engineer at Tandem. I was actually one of Tandem's first developers, and I just confirmed with one of my colleagues, or ex-colleagues, that I was first back-end full-time developer at Tandem. So I was there way at the start, building proof of concepts, and very quickly began to find this world of DevOps. I came from a .NET engineering background, didn't know really anything about DevOps, and quickly sort of latched onto it as something that was really cool and I wanted to explore and push, so I started pushing it at Tandem quite a lot. And so some of the things that I think of when I think of DevOps, I think of the right system that's also the easiest system. So doing the right thing should be simple. So I should have that on. And also that not everything has to change. So what I'm going to talk about is how we achieved the pipeline, but we didn't really add much. We added code, yeah, but we didn't really have to change a lot of the tools that we were using or approaches that we already had. And I also quite enjoyed what Alice had just said in the first talk, which was, how much should you do of something if you don't know if it's going to work? Should you really boil the ocean if it's just going to fail? So what I'm going to talk about. First of all, the challenge. So the primary challenge of last year for Tandem was to move from on-premises to AWS. But in the background, we also chose to build a pipeline, so that's what I'm going to be talking about specifically today. The solution. So what do we do? What do we choose? And a little bit of detail about those things. There'll also be I'll include some hiccups as well. And finally, just something simple to take away. I don't know why I did this, but I hope you'll appreciate it. So a little bit about Tandem. FCA, PRA regulated bank, going about 4 years. We've got credit card savings accounts and features like auto savings in the app. And whilst we have in our values to always do the right thing by the customer, we also have regulators that say we have to do the right thing by the customer, otherwise bad things will happen. So the pipeline for us is really important. It allows us to react fast to, say, a security threat, or when we need to just build a new feature. We can do it reliably, we can do it securely, we can do it quickly. So the challenge. So the challenge was to go from on-premises, which is where we were in December last year in production, into AWS. And the big problem for me was when I joined the platform team about a year ago, was we had to do change requests. And I was a developer, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Change request? So just a little show of hands, who is still managing third-party infrastructure with change requests? Oh, I can put my hand down now. Only a few of you. Really? Okay. Good. So yeah, you'll know they're slow. They're slow. Error prone, you send the email off, and then it comes back and they go, oh, you did it? And I go, no, you haven't done it, it hasn't worked. They go, oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. yeah. And they're difficult. Well, I found it difficult. I find it difficult to open Word. I find it difficult to open emails. I'm that kind of person. So we were in this really weird situation where dev and staging, I'd built Terraform to do load balancers. I'd used a Stack-Exchange's DNS control to do our DNS. That was in dev and staging. And then in prod, I had to open Word, send an email. It was a little bit of a nightmare to just thinking about how different our environments were at that time, especially production. Never mind just like one server was different to another server in prod. The whole lot was, So we were migrating to AWS, and quick shout out to NordCloud, who helped us to do this, and Tamash is right there. He was very helpful in all of this, and the rest of the NordCloud team, and AWS as well. They were helping us to do all of this. One of the early discussions, and I think it might have been even one discussion, was that, it was a very long one, was to figure out what the pipeline would be. And we knew that we had to have a pipeline. We wanted infrastructure as code. Well, I thought it was obvious that we wanted infrastructure as code, but Tamas, just before this, told me that it was actually a really hard decision, and I just thought it was obvious. And we had, we wanted pipeline as code. So those kind of things were quite easy. But what was quite hard was where would we run this pipeline? Because most of our stuff is Windows orientated, and really trying to build a sort of HA Jenkins at the same time was not really on the list of priorities. So the solution, well, this is the things that we decided to use. Bitbucket pipelines. We were already hosting our code in Bitbucket, so it was quite straightforward. Add a Bitbucket pipelines file. We've got cloud-hosted pipelines. Trunk-based development, we were already using this to great effect within the business. Short-lived feature branches is where we like to hang out. Python, we already had Python developers, so that was a simple transition. No need to choose anything more complicated. We selected AWS CloudFormation for a number of reasons, and this is the answer to the Terraform question. We have experience with it. We'd already had some stuff put into production using CloudFormation. We were going to AWS, and it's an AWS product. We'd get AWS support, straight out of the box. And also, it supported all of our use cases at that moment. And we also chose Ginger 2, which I think was a recommendation from NordCloud. So that was kind of to give us just a little bit of extra power around CloudFormation, because I'm sure you know it can be a little bit difficult to use. So here's our high-level pipeline. So this is a screenshot from Bitbucket pipelines. Going from the top, we render the CFN templates. And when I did the screenshot, it's actually a mistake. We actually render everything at that point. So we render Lambda functions and the templates. We do fixes and linting. And importantly, at the CFN lint section here, we also do some custom governance checks at that point. So we can statically check that we've got encryption on, we've got tags, no swear words in the code base, that kind of thing. And we keep going. We get to test stack deployments. This is run automatically, so providing all this is green, we go test stack deployments, and that deploys to dev, staging, sandbox, all of your non-production, non-vital environments, and then it pauses. That just gives us a chance to say what's going into production. So you get a button here. You get a button here before you've done it. You click on the button, and it'll give you the diff. So you can see every single code change that's about to go from the difference between the last production deployment to what you're about to put in. And this is really helpful. Sometimes you see a config setting and you go, oh no, actually that shouldn't be in, or something's gone live and actually that's not quite ready. Oh, and we also have Slack giving us a nudge because this is manual. We don't want to leave it too long, so we try and do it every day, at least once a day. Towards the end of the day, we want to keep the stuff going. A little look at our repository. I can't really see that, so I apologize. We have context. You think of them as sort of modules. This one is called demo. You can have multiple modules, and in each module, you can have lambdas, parameters, and templates. So parameters where you store things like your dev variables, your staging variables, your prod variables. And inside the lambdas, you've got the hello lambda, and we use that name to inject parameters into the CloudFormation, so you can see that it's telling us what the S3 object version is after it's been uploaded to S3. Normally, if you've just got a few Python files, it will zip them, but if you've got something more complicated to do, you can put in a build.sh, a build shell script to do more complicated tasks. In the templates, you need at least a root, and then the rest you can add nested stacks and do all the good stuff with CloudFormation that you'd expect. There's importing, including different parameter files in your parameters, so we've got sort of a globals concept, which is over here. This globals messages, this is just a demo obviously. If you've got sort of like high-level config, you can put that in the global parameters and then import that into your sort of environment configs. And then, yeah, I mean, hope I don't need to explain that. And then Ginger 2 is obviously giving us this stuff and the ability to write custom functions. So it makes it easier to write all the tags, and you don't have to keep writing all the same tags over and over again. So that's just an image of what the rendered version is. Obviously the variable's been replaced and the tags have been added there for you. So how did it go? So this is sort of before we were in AWS. It was really, really, hold on, slow. So, 40 minutes-ish after we did migration. It was basically the volume of CFN calls and the number of things that were changing. We had a few little bugs, and we slowly ironed them out. And we were basically building up a habit. So around here, we're going, oh, this is too slow, I'll just comment out all the stacks. Which obviously is going to get you there somewhere quicker, but not really where you want to be. And then, if you change a global parameter, then you want to comment that stack, you never know what's going to happen. But look, this was all before prod. So migration day, we sort of let ourselves do what we needed to do. But when we got to here, we said, right, that's it, we've got to uncomment everything. And it went up like that. So one of the first things we did was to parallelize the application of the templates. And this is just showing you how you can sort of organize things. So you could, if you have several templates that have no dependencies, then you can run them all at parallel. The code will just fire off them all into CloudFormation and wait for them to finish. Simple as that. I say it's simple. I should do a lot of work on that. We also put something in to check whether or not we needed to even call CloudFormation at all. So rather than just say deploy this, and then it comes back and says nothing needs to be deployed, we check before. That took a lot of time off. So how about now? I got even slower. Yeah. So that got our head scratching. The main problem was that we didn't realize how bad the commenting out problem was. So by putting it all in one big file, there's nowhere to hide. It's all, we have to do all this. And because it was all over the place before, it was kind of easy to sort of hide or miss something or forget. So we saw it go through the roof, and yeah, we thought that was quite interesting. And the main problem was that we found this problem with hashing zips. And apologies if everyone knows this, but I was certainly surprised after coding for so long. I thought I would have seen this one before. You get a different hash for zip archive depending on the operating system, and also when the files have been created. So you do a build of, say, index.py, don't change anything, you get a different hash. Great. And then you upload it to, you take this build, put it into S3, something else. So every single time we were, deploying the code, it was saying everything's changed. We go, but nothing's changed. Anyway, it took us a lot of. I think it was a good solid day of what's going on, and we would have two computers running the same code, different hash. Anyway, we got there eventually, and then what happened? It actually worked. So yeah, finally it plateaued, and this is kind of really where we are now, because it works, and sort of 15 minutes to go from from merge to the end of production on average is, I don't know, for us at the moment, that's kind of okay. So this is where we are now. Obviously, we've migrated to AWS. That wasn't hard. That wasn't easy. Sorry. Production deployments are reliable. We rarely see anything happen in production as an effect of our pipeline or a change going in. We catch them all in sort of sandbox environments, or we catch them all in development or staging, usually almost straight away. And also the sort of beauty of using CloudFormation in AWS is that they tell you when it's wrong and then they fail very quickly. We've got minimal manual changes. I'll admit there are a few. We had to make some, we had to do some things quickly to get over the line last year, and we know what they all are, and we're making progress against getting rid of those. And it's always improving. I mean, standard DevOps, right? Do you want a quick demo? Yeah. Damn. Typical. Right. Is that visible? Shall I make it a bit bigger? Better? Yeah. Is that the edge of the screen? Yeah. So here I've got just a little demo project. Oh, I need to make that bigger, don't I? I'll call out what you can't see. So I've got a demo project. This is the templates, parameters, and a Lambda function, just doing PyTest, and the Lambda just returns a message. We've got a sandbox environment, so there you would have dev, staging, prod. That's where you do feature flags, turn things on and off. And then here's a Lambda function. So we can render this, and we'll see it build out. So it builds out into a structure for region. So I can't read that. Region, sandbox. So you've got build, output, region, sandbox, demo, lambdas. And there's the template that's rendered. That's the hash, that's the zip of the lambda, and also the hash that I was talking about before, the problem we had. And then we can deploy it. Is it going to ask for authenticate? No. It's going to go in. So there, I've already deployed that one before. So it was actually very quick because nothing's changed. So let's make a change. So we've got these messages. Let's go. Spell it right. Yeah. Yeah, that should do it. So now it should pick up the change and deploy it, and it'll give us a nice little box, I think. You can see we're logging out the E tag, so we're still a little bit scared of what's going on there. And the function has changed. So it'll take a bit longer. This is the actual deployment. Let's invoke it. Hey.
Was that on your phone?
It was on the phone. Sorry, yeah, I was typing out the.
So is that your audit trail for the build?
Pardon?
Is that your audit trail for this activity?
Could be. There's the message. Wow, the demo worked. There we go.
Go back one.
Where to? Where to? That bit. Oh, you finished. Yeah, so I was pondering, like, what do you take away from this? So everyone should go away and build an entire DevOps, infrastructure pipeline. Well done, everybody. That's quite hard. And then I was thinking about, what a pipeline is. It's basically a system. It's a sequence of things connected together. So what could you take away from a sort of, I don't know. I would suggest finding a part of some system that you're working with every day, or your team is working with every day, and you think it's not optimal. Only a small part of the system, not the whole thing. And just try and make or see one change that could improve that one part of the system. And really, that's it. That's my only sort of suggestion. And I think you just keep doing that, and before you know it, you've automated the whole thing. Any questions?
Thanks.
I can't hear it.
Thanks for the talk. Two quick questions. Your terminal looked really cool with your Git status in the line.
Yeah. Sorry.
Your terminal
Yeah.
looked really cool. You could see which branch you were on and all that.
ZSH.
Yeah. Cool.
Ask someone else about that. Someone else set that up for me.
And second question, how did you solve that hash problem?
How do we solve it? Oh yeah, I accidentally took that out. I don't know why I did that. It was in there. Get off that. So you see this is the build over here. You've got the hello.zip and hello.hash. So the hash value is basically a sum of the hashes of all of the contents inside the zip. And then we upload that as a custom tag on the S3 object. And then instead of just comparing on eTag, we just compare on that tag. That was the answer. Yeah.
Another question? Anyone?
How much kind of automated testing, unit integration, whatever, have you got in that pipeline?
Not a lot. We've got static testing, so we do linting, and we do sort of custom governance checks. And inside, so there is I don't think I even ran it, but yeah, there's a very basic test there. So we do aim to put tests into all of our Lambda functions in here. So the kind of Lambda functions that will be in here would not really be business Lambda. It would be more platform level tasks. But that's something that we're on the verge of starting to work on with the testing team in Tandem. So that's on the horizon, really.
So kind of manual at the moment?
It's manual, yeah, but we have a lot of outside-in testing. So we sit by a dashboard, and if you deploy something to dev, you find out pretty quick when it's gone wrong because everything just lights up, like a Christmas tree. Yeah, that's how we do it.